Hey everyone. For my presentation, I'm just going to talk about more of the broad view of what I learned from the semester because of the class. So I'm not necessarily going to talk about any of the projects or like the group project or the master project or like a skills drill. But I just want to talk a little bit about my experience in the class, what I got out of it, and what I learned from it. So coming into the semester, I was a little hesitant at John's no grade um, style of class. I didn't really like understand what the purpose of it was, and I was definitely used to the traditional status quo. You know, you write your essays, you get graded, you do posts for points, and you get graded, and it's the grades that give you the accountability. Um, and it took me kind of a long time throughout the semester to realize like what John was trying to accomplish during the semester, and it wasn't to me it wasn't about just like completing work, right? Because he doesn't care about busy work; he wants us to learn, and I realized that he wants us to lean into learning and not be coerced or like cornered into learning. And kind of when I realized this was when he showed up late to class that one day, if you guys remember, and he was like 10 minutes late, and he showed up and he was like, "What would you guys have done if I would not have come to class? Would you have stayed and worked on your projects with your groups? Would you try to get some good work done, or would you all have just left early?" And I think like naturally most of us were like, "Oh, yeah, we would have dipped," right? Um, but he said his hope was that we would have stayed, but not because we felt like we needed to, and not that we felt like we had to, but that we wanted to, that we wanted to work on our projects, that we wanted to learn and push ourselves and really get something out of what we were working on, and not just doing it because we were supposed to, right? Because he was totally trying to break the mold of doing things out of compulsion. And I realized that this type of environment was just a type and a shadow for how we should live our lives. We shouldn't live our lives in order to please anyone else, or um, we shouldn't do things in our lives out of obligation or out of compulsion. We should want to live our best lives according to how we interpret that, right? Um, so we should strive to always really follow our passions and be committed to them. And I think that's what he was trying to teach us. At least that's what I learned was one of the biggest lessons for me throughout the semester was just lean into learning and lean into life for the right reasons. Because he would always say, don't, I don't want you to do this just because it's an assignment, or I mean, that's why he didn't have points attached to it, because he tried to take out that accountability that points usually give, and hope that we embraced learning and chose to do the assignments because we wanted to learn. And doing that throughout the semester would teach us, okay, maybe there's another way, perhaps a better way to look at the way we live our lives. And that's, be unique, be your own person, be passionate about, what you love, and follow that passion, because you don't feel like um, obligated to do what you love to do, right? I think a kid in the class made that comment at one point, and I thought it was really insightful, that we don't need a deadline to do something that we love, to go mountain biking, or to for me, I really like studying the weather and meteorology, and I don't need someone to tell me to do that just because I love it and I'm gonna go and do it anyway. And so I guess overall, that's what I learned from the semester. And so I know it's not exactly what John's looking for with like rhetorical skills increased, or any of the 3 R's. Although I do think those were I got better at those throughout the semester. What I'm taking with me is this more abstract way to look at life. So, yeah.